Good afternoon. I'm Taylor Combluzia, a mining analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. We would like to extend our thanks to Wildeboer Delis for sponsoring this session. Our next presenter is Ralph Shearing, President, CEO, and Director of Altaley Mining Corp. Altaley is a diversified Mexico-focused producer and developer. The company is currently producing zinc and lead concentrates with gold, silver, and copper as byproducts at its CAMPO MORADO mine and is set to commence initial production at its TAHUEHUETO gold polymetallic project in the near future. Ralph, you'll have 15 minutes for the presentation, and then we'll have a Q&A session afterwards. Please take it away.
Thank you, Taylor, and welcome everybody. Thanks for coming to my presentation. So Altaley Mining is building Mexico's next mid-tier metals producer. We have a producing mine, CAMPO MORADO, primarily producing zinc, but copper, gold, silver, lead byproducts. And we are building our TAHUEHUETO project over here. This project is set to commence pre-production in March of this year. So over the next couple of weeks, we expect to start producing initial concentrates from the TAHUEHUETO project. Forward-looking statements. We obviously have a lot of forward-looking statements being made in the presentation. I encourage you to read this statement at your leisure. Here's our projects or locations. Our CAMPO MORADO producing zinc mine is in the state of Guerrero. It's currently the 6th largest zinc producer in Mexico. There's a pathway to increase our production from 2,000 to 3,000 tons per day. We're exploring improvements, process improvements to increase precious metal recoveries as well as base metal recoveries. We're well into a very extensive metallurgical program, and we expect to have that figured out over the coming quarter. We have a pathway with excellent exploration potential to potentially double the size of this mine on a long-term basis, 5 years. That would take an exploration success, but it should come easily. If we go over to our TAHUEHUETO project, it's up in northwestern Durango. We own both our projects 100%. TAHUEHUETO initial production is expected in March of this year, in the next several weeks. When we get into production, we will be producing about 70% of the revenue will come from gold, 12 from silver, 19 from base metals. Excellent potential to increase our resources and reserves on this project as well. With exploration, numerous targets ready to drill, we expect we can double or triple the size of this mine over the next 2 to 5 years. We're building a 1,000 ton per day operation right now. We have a very strong board of directors and management team. I'm not going to get into all of the details of each one due to time constraints. What I can say is we have all aspects of a public company taken care of, both all technical, legal with legal advice, financial advice with David Rhodes, lots of technical advice with Mark Bailey, Tom Kelly. I would encourage you to look into more detail at our board of directors. Myself, I'm the CEO, president, founder of this company. I'm a professional geologist with over 35 years of exploration and development experience, and over 34 years of managing senior level management of public companies. It's management. And so we jump into TAHUEHUETO mine. I'll show you a little bit about TAHUEHUETO, explain it. This is a mine that's coming into production over the next several weeks with construction at a very advanced stage. So TAHUEHUETO has probable reserves right now of 3.2 million tons at 3.4 grams per ton gold, 41 silver plus base metals. We are actually just in the process and expect to announce next week a new pre-feasibility study, which will bring probable reserves up to proven and probable. Right now, these 3.2 million tons gives us a 10-year mine life and producing around 25,000 ounces of gold annually and 42,000 ounces of gold equivalent with other base metals taken back to gold. If you look at the M&I resources at 6.1 million tons, that could give us a 20-year mine life. The M&I resources include the probable reserves, but 20-year mine life is potentially available in M&I. We're going to be producing around 1,000 tons per day at TAHUEHUETO at around an $800 gold equivalent all-in sustaining cost per ounce cost. TAHUEHUETO production profiles. You can see here, there's most majority of our production is gold, 69%. The all-in sustaining cost through this area in here, at around $800 per ounce. Although production looks like it's trailing off here in the last part of the life of the mine, there's no doubt in my mind we'll be able to keep, in my mind, that we'll be able to keep up these production levels with exploration by bringing in new resources and reserves well past the 10-year mine life that's projected right now. Moving on, a few photos of our construction. This is the ball mill being installed, the flotation circuit, some of the outside pictures of the mill, water tanks, etc. So we're about 95% complete on the construction at this point in time. If we look at the potential of this project, this is a district scale project. We have a TAHUEHUETO mineralized district. It's 12 kilometers long by about 8 kilometers wide as we know it at the moment. All of our exploration and resources and reserves have been outlined along this, excuse me one moment. Sorry, along this structure here outlined in red. The red indicates resources and reserves. The yellow indicates structures that have not been drilled or tested. We know they're there on surface. We can sample the mineralization, although we did drill 6 holes on Texcalama and outline similar style and type of mineralization as we see along our major structure. This structure has been explored from Cinco de Mayo over to the Santiago zone here. We could not drill it in there because there's too much overlying cover. It goes all the way down into this arroyo. From the arroyo to Cinco de Mayo is about 3.4 kilometers long. The ultimate potential of this district is over 7.5 kilometers. From the river here to our most northerly showing up in this area is 7.5 kilometers. This is an erosional window through younger volcanics, and that's why these zones are exposed. I believe there'll be many more of these veins that are covered over by younger volcanics in these areas for future exploration. If we look at a long section now along this major structure, you'll see how the ore bodies are occurring. When they're outlined in blue, that's a reserve. When they're not outlined, that's a resource. So we have potential to bring M&I resources into reserves with other drilling, infill drilling. We couldn't drill in here because of overlying cover. However, our underground development has gone in about 150 meters past the last known drill hole, and we're in mineralization all the way. We're going to drift right across to the Santiago, and we're going to explore this from underground. I believe we can add another third to our resource reserve base just in that area there. We're open to depth. We haven't found the limits to these ore bodies. We're open along strike in both directions, and we have multiple targets to go after in the future. So the exploration potential, the ability to expand this project is exceptionally good. Now we'll jump into CAMPO MORADO. CAMPO MORADO is a producing zinc mine. As I said before, the 6th largest zinc producer. This is the milling structure. This is a tailings disposal facility that is now full and no longer being used. But there's a lot of metal still locked up in these tailings. We hope to take advantage of that and reprocess those tailings. Current M&I resources of about 16 million tons at CAMPO MORADO. That gives us a 20-year plus mine life at 2,000 tons per day. We're actually processing around 2,200 tons per day now. We have over 7 well-defined VMS, volcanogenic massive sulfide zones that have been drilled off so far. And in 2021, we produced just over 45 million pounds of payable zinc. Our costs, all-in sustaining cost, we achieved through 2021 were 87 cents per pound of zinc produced. So that gives us a lot of room in today's current market. Zinc prices are, I think they hit close to $1.78, 79 today per pound. So we're having a very profitable situation at CAMPO MORADO right now. Project costs are about 64 cents per pound. And we've been generating EBITDA regularly on a monthly basis through 2021 at CAMPO MORADO of around $2.2 million. Few photos show you the operations, the tailings facility being expanded, I'm going to raise that up for a little bit. This tailings currently will have about a 6-year mine life on its last raise. It's a crushing section there, flotation circuits, camp over here, just the loading facilities loading up concentrate. This is the area where we have the ability to expand production, should we choose to do so, by bringing a traditional mechanical flotation cell bank of cells online. This was under construction by the previous owner. It was 80% complete when they shut the mine down. So we have the possibility of bringing that online, but we may have a better way to increase production. So growth opportunities at Campo Morado, numerous growth opportunities, near-term expansion with that flotation circuit. We could bring that on stream. There may be a better way though. We decided to do what I would term a full court press on metallurgy at Campo Morado. And we've been working away on that last quarter of last year and first quarter of this year. And we've been testing pneumatic flotation, which is designed to operate very well with microfine grind ore. At Campo Morado, we have some metallurgical issues. It's kind of a tough VMS deposit. The minerals are very fine, so you got to go down to a fine grain to unlock them. And once you get too fine, the mechanical flotation cells don't do a good job of recovering the metal. So pneumatic flotation is what we're testing now. We're starting to see some good results. And then we've also been able to successfully produce a pyrite concentrate in the lab. That's important because that can take us to increased precious metal recoveries by leaching or first oxidizing and leaching our tailings. And if we can reduce the mass of the tailings with a pyrite concentrate, where the majority of the precious metals are, then we will really reduce our cost for the leaching and oxidizing capital cost to put that in. Anyways, testing from the leach ox process in 2013 was completed through first phase. It showed increases in gold recoveries up to 65%. That's a 400% increase from what we're currently getting. And it showed increases in silver up to 81%. That's a 200% increase from what we're achieving at this moment. So that's our pathway. We believe we're well on the way to showing that, taking this through second phase and having a pathway to increase the recovery of the large precious metal content of this deposit. If that works, we have the ability to reprocess the existing tailings, just doing a regrind, taking it through, recovering whatever base metal we can, and then doing a forced oxidation leaching of the pyrite concentrate. That would really bring up our precious metal recoveries and payabilities. So near-term growth potential. This project has excellent exploration potential, and we have numerous drill targets ready to drill. We expect as soon as we're healthy enough to start bringing in new resources and reserves with that. And maybe over a long-term basis, we could justify a doubling of the size of this mine. Obviously, it requires exploration success, but again, it should come easy. Here is why the exploration success could come easy. Numerous targets underneath our existing ore bodies. This is a geophysical representation of borehole geophysics. All of these anomalies are occurring down below the known zones. We're mining this El Largo and we're dewatering and starting to mine down in the G9 area again. 2 years of ore left in those areas. Then we'll move to Naranjo's north. These are all ore bodies to go after in the future as we solve our metallurgical issues. If we look on a property scale basis, all of those ore bodies I just showed you and targets were just in this blue ellipse. These are all property scale targets that have been identified by the previous owner. They're drill ready. These are geophysical and geochemical anomalies that need to be drilled. All we would need to do is locate them, set up a drill and drill them, and any one of these could bring in new massive sulfide ore bodies to help feed the mill into the future. So here is our capital structure. We're currently trading in the 33 to 35 cent range, 52-week high, 27 to 80. Highs and lows, shares outstanding, 262 million shares outstanding with options and warrants. So we are fully diluted at 33 million. And we have a market cap of around 67 to 70 million US dollars at the moment, cash on hand of around $4 million. And then Restricted cash is money that we lost in a bank that went into receivership in Mexico. There's a story behind that. Not enough time to explain it today, but anyone interested, I certainly can. We have loan debt for $38 million, primarily to Trafigura, which we're successfully servicing right now at the moment, giving us an enterprise value just under $100 million at this point in time. And if we look at a peer comparison, you'll note this is enterprise value over EBITDA. We have a ratio of about 1.4. These are Mexican polymetallic producers on this side of the slide here. Average there is about 11.5. So we have a lot of room to grow and catch up to the average of our peers in Mexico as a polymetallic producer. And even a junior gold producer, we're sitting here 1.4, the average is 4. So a lot of room to expand our market cap here as well. And once TAHUEHUETO comes in production, it's worth noting that we will be classified, we will start to be classified as a precious metal producer, because just under 60% of our revenue will be coming from precious metals. It looks like I'm running out of time here. So really quickly, I'll just say we have a strong ESG components, have been paying particular attention to ESG for many, many years, even before it became a buzzword. It's definitely a focus of our company. And I think I can wrap it up there because my time is just over 15 minutes.
Great. Thanks a lot for the presentation, Ralph. We have had a couple of questions come in. Everybody else, feel free to submit them as we go forward here. So first question, what is the CapEx needed for the expansion to 5,000 tons per day? Would that be from a strategic partner, offtake, or a company's revenue?
Well, it's just a little too early to make assumptions on what that would cost or where we would get the funding. And we're speaking at CAMPO MORADO there. So, first we've got to get the exploration done to prove up the resources that would justify the expansion to 5,000 tons a day. So I look at that as like a 5-year time frame target, 1, 2, 3 years of exploration, engineering, design, etc. And then you would, either fund it from cash flows or go to the market or the banks to get that funded for the expansion.
Right. Okay. The next question here, if the phase 2 testing at CAMPO works out, what dollar percentage increase in profits would you expect?
Well, it's another good question, but I'm unable to answer it because we have to get the metallurgy completed. So we know what our recoveries are, we know what our success rate could be, and then we can start to make some assumptions on what expanded revenue we will be making. I can say that we do intend to start producing a copper concentrate at CAMPO MORADO over the next 2 to 3 months, and that should give us, it will give us another revenue source at CAMPO MORADO.
Okay. And next question here, the amount of loans outstanding, what's your monthly servicing costs for the debts, and have you built up cash reserves for eventual payoff of the loans?
We are servicing the loans successfully from CAMPO MORADO free cash flows. The amount of debt service, I don't have that figure on the top of my head, but it's going to be probably in the neighborhood of $600,000 to $700,000 on a monthly basis. Our projections at TAHUEHUETO alone show that we can pay all of our debt back within about 2.5 years. That's not taking into any account of free cash from CAMPO MORADO. So once we get TAHUEHUETO up and running, there's a lot of additional cash being generated. We should be able to service these loans very quickly.
Okay, and then another question here. Do you do gold smelting on your own facility?
No, all our concentrate is taken by Trafigura under offtake agreements, long-term agreements.
Perfect. So we are just running out of time right now. So I would like to thank you very much, Ralph, for presenting Altaley to us at the conference this afternoon.
Thank you, Taylor. My pleasure.